He's a real rock down in their defensive half of the ground. So looking forward to seeing how they play today as that kick goes out of bounds on the full. Quite a breeze to play with at the moment here at the Twin Ovals. As North Launceston bring the ball back into play inside 50, but straight down the throat of Eddie Cole. Cole, the chipping kick over the top. It was intended for Lovell. Sets his teammate up in the end as Lovell kicks it down the line. Just comes off the chest of George O'Neill. North Launceston swoop on the football. Pearce, the target, takes it on the second grab just outside attacking 50. Kingborough have really not had the ball past halfway at the moment as Nathan Pearce looks to launch the ball inside 50. It's a big kick. That one's also out of bounds on the full. Copying the umpire for good measure as it goes through as well. And Donnelly to bring the ball back into play.
Yeah, I think if you're going to be shooting for goal from there, you've got to give up the goals and aim further than the far post, because this is howling through straight across your screen, and this is definitely going to be the scoring in this afternoon. The Bombers will look to build a lead in this first quarter as the Tigers try and go beyond halfway for the first time this afternoon. Won't quite achieve that here. The big fella Gardner did well at ground level. Dexterous from the big boy there as he sends them towards half forward. Spoil came from behind by Lane. Strong tackle applied by Nankervis. The Bombers look to win the ball back here and they scrap it over the line. They'll be a throw in as the Tigers make some forward progress for the first time this afternoon. Perhaps that ground route may be the way to do it. That ball's just hitting the wind and staying at the moment. Yeah, we've probably been pretty fortunate the first 6 rounds of the year. We've had pretty good weather almost every weekend, and this is a very different type of football that we're going to see this afternoon. As you said, North Lonnie will look to capitalise when they've got the breeze at their back, but at the moment, hard yakka for both of these outfits. They try and acclimatise to the conditions. Another one I'm keen to look at today with Alex Lee not playing for North Lonnie. Just the role that Theo Ives is going to have rucking solo against the likes of Gardner and Tompkinson and Carter, and even Lane and Sorty on occasion as well. Big job ahead for him this afternoon. Taking the ball there was Campbell. Chopped off across half forward for the Tigers, but the ball goes back to Cowan. Cowan's kick's a scrappy one. Clean bowls everyone in the end. Opens the door to a bit of a foot race. North Launceston emerge with the football. Kick it inside 50 and find Nathan Pearce. Just continuing to surge the ball forward there with North Lonnie. And Pearce, he thought about passing it off. He said he's had one look on goal from outside 50 before, Drewy, so now he'll try and just temper his kick to favour the conditions. You can see the rain coming in across the ground. Torrential conditions at the Twin Ovals as Nathan Pearce has the first proper set shot of the afternoon for the Northern Bombers. The kick's on the way. He's weighted it pretty well, Nathan Pearce. Swings it home. Lovely finish from him, and North Launceston are on the board this afternoon. 1-2-8. Tigers yet to score. Masterful use of the wind there. The expression, it's raining sideways, really comes to mind when you look at these pictures and see the rain. Well, going sideways across your screen. It is blowing a gale to one side. It is pouring with rain. And the Bombers are thriving in the wet to begin this. They're going to have to. It's certainly going to be the scoring end this afternoon. I think it's going to be a matter of the 2 quarters. You're attacking this end, trying to maximise it, and then holding on for dear life for the 2 quarters. You're defending the end and trying to limit the damage. I reckon that's going to be the order of the day. It's gotten even heavier, I think, in the last 30 seconds as well, Drewy. So we're in for a wet and wild afternoon. Theo Ives, as you mentioned, a young man, is going to have a lot of stoppages to deal with this afternoon, I reckon. See how his body holds up. This one down pretty decisively by Tompkinson. Free kick going the way of the Tigers. It'll be Riley Ashland in the middle of the park and send them forward here for the first time, but he's just tried to steal a few yards there to his right. He's off to his left now, and he just opts to stand this one up, and it nearly blows itself backwards, and the intercept mark is taken by Heath Ollington at half-back. Chips it wide as they look to cautiously move off half-back here. It's Fletcher Bennett with the ball. Just slows things down and gets some bodies forward. Then opts to just flick a little handball over the top. Perhaps a good option. Now they go further afield to half forward. Reardon there, casting their old defender Pearce. Just put forward there by Leary. That was clever. Inside 50 now. Trying to gathers Elijah Reardon. Immediately wrapped up by 2, but some nice clean hands. The kick not so clean. That just stands up in the wind. Some courage shown, but it falls down almost the way of the Bombers. Bustling through is Tompkinson, trying to just carry it through like a rugby prop there, Anthony. Absolutely. Tompkinson using his body size, but I tell you what, that was a brave running back with the flight there, with the ball just holding up in the breeze. Would not want to be the player under that ball as Tompkinson wins it down. Pearce going to be first to it, unable to get the ball past Riley Ashland. Ashland's hurried kick gets out of defensive 50. Lovell getting involved early. His dribble kick goes down the line. George O'Neill comes in to support Gardner. North Launceston with the numbers. Emerging with the football there was Chug. His kick just soars with the breeze inside 50. Tompkinson again involved, kicking the ball off the ground. Vent emerges with the football. Rule leader of this North Launceston side. His kick goes inside 50. Godomski just decides to kick the ball off the ground, out of defensive 50. Lovell handballs over the top to Dygan. Dygan with a quick kick down the line in the Gardner direction. A couple of players fly, unable to take the grab. Emerging with the football there was Golding. Eventually seen over and out for a throw-in in front of the Kingborough Tigers interchange bench.
Seeing a few players opt to just kick it off the deck here, and I reckon that's a good strategy to employ this afternoon. Just get meterage however you can. Thump it forward. Don't worry about trying to be pretty. These are not the conditions for that. Just get yardage where you can, as the Bombers have been pretty good at the contest early on this one. Flicked over the top by Sulzberger. It'll be Lovell trying to take it away. His handball back into dispute though, and they'll scrap in. Not sure anyone will get a decisive clearance, but the umpire spotted a free kick, has he? Or is he just going to eventually call that, perhaps blindsided and see that the ball had been released out there? So we'll have a stoppage at half forward for the Bombers, doing the bulk of the attacking early on, kicking to what will be the scoring end. Can they make the most of it in rugged conditions? As this one's again one down pretty nicely by Tompkinson. Pearce came over the top, flicked handball out wide, found Lockie Clifford, who just screws one further up the wing. Gardner was there, he won it down to Dygan, who hacks it high in the air, and it's out the back, but he couldn't quite gather it out there. George O'Neill just slipping through his hands. That allowed Lockie Cowan to come in. He just kicks it out into open field. First to it is Parker. His handball was good. There was Eddie Cole. Eddie Cole showing some poise. Flicked the handball over the top to Golding. Golding chips it forward, looking for Tyler Carter. And the big fella's got it. He plays on quickly. Squaring ball to Lovell. And he found his man, and a good option from the ruckman. And Lovell, oh, he catches Cooks Goodyear by surprise, turns and goes. But his kick is just wind affected, tumbles into the pocket, got nowhere near the goals. Well, initially it was brilliant from him, didn't quite work out in the end, as this one's now chipped up to the wing. Reardon's going to come in there. The Bombers eventually will take it forwards through Campbell. Thought a stoppage was coming, not to be. Got forward but couldn't complete the mark. Chug. Taken out of the contest was Leary. Bodies flying in everywhere. Here's Clifford now, and he's escorted out of play. And end-to-end play here in the wild weather.
Yeah, that was a frenetic minute or so of football there, Drewy. I was going to compliment Tyler Carter, and I should compliment him for the really just massaging the ball to Kieran Lovell. Lovell, 9 times out of 10, he plays on from there and he kicks the goal, but conditions wreaking havoc. In the end, not even troubling the scorers or the boundary line. Now North Launceston find themselves at half forward. Ives on the tap down on that occasion. Lockie Griggs as Nathan Pearce for company. Byron award the free kick to Lockie Griggs. Kingborough, the ball at half back, as we said, have done all the defensive work so far this afternoon. That kick down the line was looking for Tompkinson. Tompkinson potentially took his opponent without the football. The umpire agrees. So free kick going the way of the Northern Bombers. Fletcher Bennett has been busy early. Haven't been too many times in the history of the TSL where we've called North Launceston the underdogs against Kingborough. The ball goes inside 50, eventually go over and out, but just speaks to where these two clubs are at the moment. Kingborough really riding high and probably put that claim forward to be the second seed in the competition behind Lonnie. North Launceston just blooding so many young players. It's exciting for their development, but might mean they're potentially a rung below in season 2022 as Gardner wins it down. Graham, a long way from his usual home, kicks the ball towards the 50-metre arc. Eventually comes back in, Luke Graham, potentially taken high. The umpire says yes. He's very good at just extracting those free kicks, is Luke Graham. Millman Shandon, player taking him high on that occasion.
Just angled the body nicely, didn't he? But yeah, the Bombers had such a sustained period of greatness and dominance. Eventually, you are going to have a few down years, but some promising youngsters in this list. I don't think they're going to be down for too long. And the Tigers, yeah, the big improvers this season, perhaps. Lauderdale showing some good signs in recent weeks, but certainly the Tigers look like that number 2 seed in the competition, as you mentioned, Anthony. With Launceston showing their mortality for once last week, so that will have encouraged the Tigers. As a nice mark's taken by Tompkinson, showing some good hands in difficult conditions early on, the big fella there, Tompkinson. And he'll load up here and drive them slightly further afield. Another contest there, this one spoiled down from behind. Samuel Dygan, umpire has given holding the ball, I think. Slight delay, but it did appear to be there, so correct decision adjudicated there, and the Bombers will take back over 8-0. And you can see how hard it's going to be trying to score at this end of the field. Lovell's shot really tells that story better than anything, as he wheeled and went from 35 and put it into the pocket. It is going to be very, very difficult. So just trying to stop the opposition from scoring goals for 5 or 10 minutes at a time could be the best hope. And they've done that since conceding the early one. The Tigers take back over in midfield here. Flicked across the lane. Good side step there from the big man. Thought he was going to be caught cold with it. And then the mark is taken there by Luke Graham, getting down low, and he opts to square one up. It's a good kick, a risky kick, but he pulled it off nicely to Zach Adams. Zach Adams now spreads the play further afield. They'll work it wide. Lockie Griggs now sends them inside 50, has 2 there to pick out, couldn't quite find a level. The Bombers' defence close in at ground level. The Tigers fighting away hard, trying to keep it locked in. The umpire spotted a shirt grab though, and the free kick will be blown. A relieving free kick for the Bombers at half back. Hubbard to take over. And he looks up and sends them down the line. Plenty of Tigers bodies there though. Wasn't a great kick. Picked out Lockie Griggs. Always looked like being a Tigers ball. It wasn't a great decision there by Hubbard, as this one swung inside 50 once more. Went the double fist. Probably could have gone the mark there on that occasion, Cohen, but he's able to recover and get the kick forward and get some pretty good distance on it too. He sends them towards their attacking side of the wing. Throw in 8-0 first quarter, and a slog in the wet here at the Twin Ovals.
Slog's certainly the operative word. Just two teams feeling their way through these conditions at the moment. Saw Nathan Pearce already just adjust his second look on goal, using the breeze to his advantage. Gardner takes it out of the ruck himself on this occasion. Kicks it down the line. Salter competing at ground level. Does really well in the second effort. Connor Salter eventually gets the handball off to Lovell. Reardon just comes and picks his teammate's pocket. Drives the ball inside 50. Dygan in pursuit of the football. George O'Neill there as well, but nice work from the North Lonnie defence. Cowan taps it over the top. Eventually they're going to get away. Brad Cox-Goodyear. Handball's over the top. Sets a bit of a task for his teammate. Adams combines with Lovell. He kicked the ball towards half forward, but Jack Event does well. Running back, taking the grab. And looks to switch the football. Clever little tap on. Salter again competing well at ground level. Opens the door for Reardon. Reardon's kick in the direction of Tompkinson. Tompkinson didn't have eyes for the football on that occasion. North Lonnie with the numbers. They turn it over once again. Riley Ashland taking the mark on this occasion. Kick and a half, or potentially a couple of kicks from goal given the conditions. He chips the ball inside 50. Reading it best for North Launceston there. It's Ethan Hubbard, another Tassie Devil player back in the red and black this afternoon. He goes to Event. Event off to the big man in Ives, who just drives the ball towards half forward. Dangerous ball here for the Kingborough defence. Ben Donnelly does well. Handball held up in the breeze. Reardon eventually gets it. Finds Will Clifford. Clifford towards the wing. Lockie Clifford's going to swoop on the loose footy. His kick towards half forward. A couple of players are there in Dygan and Lane. Neither able to take the ball cleanly. Cowan drives the ball towards half forward. Just gets through the hands of Griggs. Pressure's now on the Tigers' defence. Griggs eventually emerges with the football. Retreats back to Elijah Reardon, who brings the ball out of defence.
Intercept mark taken by Bradley Cox-Goodyear. Big strong body should thrive in these types of conditions. And he just chips a clever little ball. Oh, spoiling his own man was Thomas Bennett. They had two guys best poised for the mark and they spoiled each other. Cox-Goodyear first the ball again, looks to turn and shows that core strength. Just kept his feet. The kick was no good, but it might work out all right. It was an ugly worm burner. Squirmed through three bodies. Bombers then come up with it. Handball couldn't quite find Bennett. Bennett then surely lingering in the tackle far too long. Got away with it. Flicked out the side. The Tigers trying to clear the defensive 50. Won't be 15 as Clifford fumbled that one. Handball out from Harper. Put Cox-Goodyear in some trouble, but the tackle was high. And he'll take the kick from 50. Given the conditions, it'll be an extremely difficult kick. But if anyone's capable, it'd be Bradley Cox-Goodyear.
Yeah, he's been vintage Brad Cox-Goodyear in recent weeks. Missed one game through injury earlier in the year, but certainly emerged as another standout in the competition. Reigning Ulster Lynch medalist. As he said, this will take his best work, but I'm sure he's up to the task.
Wind should be in his favour from a distance perspective. It's just, can he get the line right? He starts this one well out to the left, and it drifts back. He just allowed for it a bit too much in the end. Off score for or behind. And they move to 139, leading the Tigers. Yet to score through 20 minutes here. But a 9-point deficit, probably not a bad thing for them, all things considered, Anthony.
Yeah, they've been defending absolutely so far of Kingborough. Last couple of minutes, they've been able to get the ball out of their defensive half of the ground a little more regularly as Avent gets the handball over the top to Brad Cox-Goodyear. Hurried kick from North Launceston coach over and out on the full. Lockie Griggs to bring the ball back into play. So, star-studded North Lonnie side. You're looking at this young talent, the likes of Campbell and Cowan and Leary and Ollington, Hubbard, all been standouts for the Devils so far in the NAB League Boys competition. Devils, of course, having the bye this week. Great to see them back out playing TSL football. Tompkinson and Ives prepare to go to battle once again. Tompkinson taps it down. Pearce was going to be first to the football. Umpire will take it back once again, just on the paint of Kingborough's defensive 50, umpire Geeson. Oscar Harper in the ruck now. Eddie Cole emerges with the football. His kick, able to be marked there by Nicholas, and the umpire has blown the whistle. Stoppage just on the wing. It's certainly not pretty football at the moment, Drewy, but it's an enthralling contest, a real arm wrestle between the two sides. Tompkinson somehow emerges with the football, wrapped up by a couple of Bombers. Handballs towards the boundary. Graham tries to keep it in play. Elijah Reardon tried to play for the free kick, and the umpire may have plucked it out. Free kick going the way of the Tigers. Ashland takes advantage, kicks towards half forward lane, unable to take the grab on his chest. North Launceston with the numbers. Bring the ball into the middle of the ground. The mark's taken by Will Harper.
So the Bombers by hand through the middle. Found Fletcher Bennett. He flicked one over the top. Some good handballs there. Can they find a marking target? It just floats over all comers, and just lumbering out the back was big Tompkinson, who again is showing cleaner hands than just about anyone on the park here today, the big fella. In tough conditions, the football a bit of a bar of soap. He's been very clean with his hands, taking a few marks. A tough kick here though, as it just stands up in the breeze, and doing really well was Marcus Gardner. Initially opted to spoil and then kind of flicked it up to himself, and at the second grab was able to complete the mark. His kick will go to a contest, and this one will be scored out of play. Trying to get his kick away was Adams, and he was just dumped in there by Seth Campbell coming across to escort him out. As we tick into red time here in the first quarter. Bombers would definitely love another goal here for all their play, and in fact a free kick was called for that. A little unnecessarily escorting him out of play was the umpire's decision. Jordan Lane takes the mark at half forward for the Tigers. Sends them now to true centre half forward. Unable to complete the mark there. The Bombers, strong tackle laid by Chug. Over the shoulder though, and a free kick going the way of the Tigers, who tried to take the advantage there. The umpire not having it, he'll bring it back. It'll be a free kick, and I think with the wind against Samuel Dygan here, this is surely going to be too tough a kick. He's going to have to try and find a target here.
See, it's North Lonnie players flooding back, making it difficult to find that short kick, but you're right, Drewy. It's a long way from goal.
Well, he do. He just opts to stand it up to the teeth of goal, let the big men fly at it. The spoils came, and then the quick clearing kick gets some pretty good purchase up towards Theo Ives. He couldn't quite complete the mark. Crashing in Thomas Bennett, then just socket off the ground by Salter. And the umpire's plucked a free kick. Was it kicking in danger, perhaps he's called that?
Might have been, yeah.
So the Bombers will get the ball back through Bennett, who looks up and just drives them forwards. Plenty of bodies, but it flew over all their heads. Now it's a foot race. Elijah Reardon always likely to win them, but coming away with the football, Seth Campbell squared it up. Can he find a marking target? He can. Well done, Campbell, squaring it up, and Blade Sulzberger sneaking into the space, and an excellent opportunity here.
Yeah, great opportunity for North Launceston. I love that work there from Campbell, and Sulzberger found himself in a good position, took a really strong grab under pressure.
So they need this goal, North Launceston. They certainly want to have a decent lead at quarter time. 9-0, you'd say, advantage the Tigers despite having not scored. They would be the happier of the two teams. So they need to get another goal and get some reward on the scoreboard for their efforts here. Sulzberger, he hangs it out and he immediately started pumping the fist. He loved it off the bait. The boot there, Blade Sulzberger gets their second of the afternoon, 2-3-15, a 15-point advantage, and he enjoyed that one.
He did, deservedly so as well. Lovely kick from him, and nobody's talked about it before, but Seth Campbell is such a highly rated youngster in this outfit, moved from the coast to North Launceston this year and has been in the Devils colours, has been a real standout for them. He kicked 5 or 6 goals, I believe, a week or so ago. Just knows where the goals are and has a few tricks in his arsenal, including that deft little kick there. And it's good to see a couple of these Devils players getting involved early. And Sulzberger, who's been around North Lonnie for a couple of years now, another highly rated youngster, getting on the scoreboard. And you can see him immediately thrown into the middle as well. So great start for him. Good start for North Launceston, getting that reward for effort, getting the second goal on the board. As Cox Goodyear comes in and lays the tackle on Eddie Cole. The umpire decides just to let it roll out for a while. Tompkinson emerges with the football, kicks it towards half forward. Bennett try to take the grab, not Bennett I should say. Hubbard has got the ball at half back now for North Launceston. The free kick paid. Goes out wide. Find Ahern. Jack Ahern quick to move the ball on. Kicks the ball towards true centre half forward. Mark not taken, but some nice roving there from Manshandon. Handball eventually finds Cox Goodyear, who knew exactly what he was doing there, Drewy. Brad Cox Goodyear has executed himself a free kick.
Sucked him right in.
Yep.
I feel a little sorry for the defender on that one, to be honest.
That was young Julian Parker. I think that's Brad Cox Goodyear using his experience to his advantage there, isn't it, Drewy?
Absolutely. Great nous and gets him a great scoring opportunity here.
So Brad Cox Goodyear looking for his first goal of the afternoon. The North Launceston coach, the kick's on the way. Missing it to the right-hand side. Through for a minor score. 2-4-16 leading Kingborough. Yet to score.
An afternoon where goals may be tough to come by. A big missed opportunity there for a player of Bradley Cox Goodyear's calibre, directly in front, 20 metres out. And I think after his last couple of shots where the wind didn't quite take it as much as he thought, he kind of allowed for that this time, and then the wind picked back up. So perhaps not as regulation as it would normally be, but still one you'd expect a player like Cox Goodyear to dob, as Elijah Reardon sends them outside defensive 50. To ground it falls, picking it up was Donnelly. He was dealt with, or rather Lockie Griggs. He's going to get the ball here. Looked like he played on and then, caught. Holding the football, play on advantage. Big chance for the Bombers here. Just pokes one up into space and the mark's taken by Will Harper. As Lockie Griggs just biting off a little more than he could chew there, Anthony.
Yeah, great awareness from young Will Manshandon, and he just had the composure to just take a bit off his kick and find a teammate as well. It would have been easy to blaze away, head full of steam, but he did the team thing, and nice work there from Manshandon to pick Griggs' pocket.
So after the siren, the kick will come. Will Harper. Can he extend the lead to 22 points at quarter time here with the final kick of the quarter? The wind howling here at the Twin Ovals. He allows for it. It swings back, but he allowed a little too much for it. And a minor score only. It ends 2-5-17, the Bombers. Kingborough yet to score, but I'm not sure we're going to see a whole lot, if any, scoring at that end all afternoon if conditions remain like this. So a little hard to judge the game. The Bombers have certainly been on top, but one of those classic contests where we're not really going to truly know how the game sits till half-time, Anthony.
Yeah, exactly right. I think you nailed it before, Drewy, when Sulzberger was having that shot on goal, that if North Lonnie didn't have that second goal on the board, it was certainly advantage Kingborough, despite the score, just considering how difficult these conditions are going to be, kicking to the far end of the broadcast. And I guess, yeah, North Launceston, they've got their 2 goals 5, but a couple of those shots, I know they are difficult conditions, but it could have easily been 3 or 4 goals to nothing to start the term, but a couple of the prime movers starting to get their hands on the football late in the term. Brad Cox-Goodyear starting to really get his hands on it, and Seth Campbell also bobbing up and looking dangerous. But yeah, certainly I think we'll know a lot more about this game come half-time. At the moment, North Launceston leading 2-5-17 to Kingborough, yet to score. Intriguing second quarter coming up next as we try and find out a little bit more about the conditions here at the Twin Ovals. We'll take a short break for quarter time. Second quarter action coming up next. Welcome back to the Twin Ovals Daily Potato Co TSL live stream. Kingborough up against North Launceston, round 7 TSL action. As the rain continues to tumble down here in southern Tasmania. North Launceston lead this one 2-5-17. Kingborough yet to score, but Kingborough now kicking towards what we think is going to be the goal kicking end of the ground for this afternoon's clash. So we'll see just where this game sits at the main break. Umpire's whistle is going to go the way of the Tigers early on. Luke Graham with ball in hand. It's quick to drive the ball inside 50. Luke Graham, you can see the extra bit of purchase on that kick. Tompkinson takes the mark on the second grab, and we were just talking off air, Drew, he was dominant in that early term, and particularly with such a wet footy, seemed to really be marking the ball well.
Yeah, obviously we don't have live stats in front of us, but I reckon it's about his 5th mark of the day already. He is clunking everything, and a great chance for the perfect start to the quarter here.
The Tigers, who barely had a look at goal in the opening term, now with an opportunity to open their account within the first minute of the second term. Jack Tompkinson begins his pursuit on goal. Kicks on the way from Tompkinson, and he likes it straight away. Kingborough, they're on the board in a hurry in the second quarter.
He hasn't taken them long, and I think they enjoyed going inside 50, a kick that actually carried a little bit and didn't just go backwards in its last 5 minutes and make it impossible to mark. And the scoring shot sailed through over the fence. So very different conditions for them this quarter. A different assignment for the Bombers, who've been in attack mode, attack for the first quarter. They're going to need to engage that defensive side of their game in quarter number 2 and see if they can limit the damage. A perfect start here. The Bombers perhaps left a couple of goals out there in the first quarter, and the Tigers with their first opportunity with 6 points there. Well won down there by Ives as the Tigers will go forward once more. Jordan Lane just couldn't quite control it. Cox Goodyear good at ground level. His handball didn't quite get much distance. Suspicions of over the shoulder there, and indeed the free kick will be paid to Lockie Griggs. Almost running into the infringement zone as Griggs just wheels and goes, sends it to the top of the square. Off hands for a minor score, and already they've cut the margin to just the 10 points inside the first 2 minutes. A very different quarter in prospect here, Anthony.
Certainly is, as Fletcher Bennett looks to bring the ball out of defensive 50 for his side. Oscar Van Dam linking up there as well. Strong tackle laid by Sam Dygan, and I guess it probably goes without saying, but with the wind behind your back, the Tigers just seem to have a bit of a pep in their step. The tackle pressure's up early on. Excellent start to the quarter for them. Kingboroug's defence is no doubt going to be under the pump as this quarter progresses. Just throwing it back into play. Gardner wins the tap down, looking for Clifford. North Launceston, some reinforcements there in Chug. Dygan lays the tackle. Lovell merges with the football. Nice tackle again by Mitch Nicholas. Kick off the ground into a little bit of space. Adams taken over the line, and a big tackle by Theo Ives. Ives just throwing his weight around, taking it up to his more experienced opponents. Big opportunity for him this afternoon in the absence of Alex Lee. Think of worse players to learn under than Alex Lee. Probably the best ruckman in the TSL for the last 4 or 5 years at least. Ball's thrown back into play now. Ives and Gardner. Gardner wins it down, looking for Godomski. Coming through there was Leary. Big tackle laid by Gardner. Umpire's ball on the wing once again.
What is it with ruckman with the one sock up, one sock down? I reckon it's a percentage of the position. Ruckman, way more than any other spot, Anthony. Just love that look, and I don't get it.
I think if you obviously one up with the shin guard, just put the other sock up. That'd be my attitude.
I'd have thought in that position I'd want shin guards, given, you've got kind of studs coming into you all in the afternoon ruck contest. Anyway, I digress. Back to the action. Ives wins this one down. Couldn't be gathered by Cole, but it would be tumbled forward into the pocket and beat all comers for a throw in and just get the ball inside 50 and lock it in. Not a bad strategy for the Tigers. Be very difficult for the Bombers to clear off half back, as we've seen this afternoon. So they'll set up here and the Rucks will go at it once more. Big assignment, as you mentioned, for Theo Ives today. Plenty of stoppages for him to attend as he duels here with Lane. One down, tackle strong from Cox Goodyear. Vice-like. Going absolutely nowhere. Was Graham. Have another stoppage. Once again, Lane to duel with Ives. Ives just now pointing him on that one. Coming through was Godomski on hands and knees trying to gather it. And a scrap in. Now to play once more. Repeat stoppages. The order of the day here. That might suit the Bombers if they can just at least halt the scoring here and turn it into a scrappy, low-scoring quarter. That will suit them as the wind affecting the umpires even with that throw in. Ives made it work. A nice piece of ruck work, but didn't quite clear the area. Charging on through was Adams. Somehow bent one back and just parking himself behind the ball. Cox Goodyear. He's going to be very, very important this afternoon and situated himself off the back of that contest nicely. Looks to drive them towards the wing now. The fist came from behind. Trying to charge on through. There was Sulzberger. It's chipped forward, and once again, Cox Goodyear. I think he's just shifted himself behind the ball to just try and act as that shield and general off half back perhaps here. And it's working out all right for them. It fell to Seth Campbell and just sent that one forwards. They had no one really to kick to forward of the ball, and the wind took it wide. If they could force a stoppage here, it'd be a good result because the numbers are with the Tigers. And they will get just that. So a throw up at half forwards here.
So North Launceston with the ball beyond the centre line for the first time in a while. Thrown up, Gardner decisively down to Godomski. It's been taken high by Brandon Leary. So Kingborough ball, half back. Godomski looking to be spending a little more time around the ball this afternoon, often on that last line of defence. Drives the ball down the line. Jordan Lane just found a little bit of space, took the mark comfortably on his chest, looks to quickly move the ball onto Lane. His kick only goes as far as Heath Ollington. Ollington with the handball, so it's a bit of a task for Hubbard. Eddie Cole there for support for the Tigers. Tyler Carter, he definitely put a little bit on that one, I think. Tyler Carter, speaking of experts who know what they're doing, it's exactly what the Kingborough sharpshooter had in his mind, and he's going to quickly wheel and go is Tyler Carter. Breeze behind his back, drives it towards the top of the goal square. A nice mark taken by Lockie Cowan. Juggling mark, plenty of players around him. Did well to the Devils co-captain. Fletcher Bennett chips the ball to Corey Nankervis. In line to play his 100th game next week is the Nank. Brings the ball out of defensive 50. Ball down the line. Brad Cox Goodyear at the bottom of the pack. Luke Graham ways to tackle on a stoppage on the outer wing.
So throw up here. Anyone get a decisive clearance? Just whacked off the ground in the end, but the Bombers would come away with it through Brandon Leary. Swings it towards half forward. No one able to get clean possession. Again, just kicked off the deck this time by Campbell. Worked it nicely. Got it to Pearce. Pearce tumbles it inside 50 first time this quarter. Couldn't quite lock it in there. Good to Isaac Newitt though. And they're able to clear away the Tigers. Good work from Gardner. Just put the block on for his teammate to come through. Cox Goodyear applying a tackle. That could be holding the football. No attempt to get rid of that. He just dived on it and correctly adjudicated by the umpire there. And he gives it back. Cox Goodyear having a great quarter here. Superstar standing up in tough conditions and leading from the front. He's tackling. Contested marking has been a highlight so far as they work it forward with a chip here to Will Harper. Can Harper find a target here? The best opportunity going forwards this half. He tried to keep it low and just send a little dart in there. Pitched ahead of his forward though. Taken away by Ashland. Umpire spotted something. Which way is it going? It's going the way of the Bombers by the looks of it. A free kick plucked for Isaac Newitt. But given the conditions, a kick on the angle from 40 metres out is going to be mighty tough here. So we'll see if he does opt to strike for goal or maybe just try and nurse a low one again. Oh, thought about the handball. Wouldn't have been the worst option. But he's going to go back and take the shot on by the looks here. Isaac Newitt. He runs around onto his right, tries to get some extra metres there. It still wasn't enough, comes up 15 metres short. Fell to Elijah Reardon. Oh, ugly kick from Reardon though. Picking up, getting his kick away in the end. Bit of a drop kick was Campbell. Picked up by Pearce, weaving one way, then the other. Somehow escaped and got a handball clear. Defensive clearing kick, not a good one. Picked up by Chug. He was wrapped up, coming through now Luke Graham. He just throws it out wide. And then getting on the end of it was Manshaden. And he's taken out of play. Best period of the quarter here for the Bombers. And some backs to the wall defending and trouble kicking for both teams, Anthony.
Absolutely. A couple of times there, I thought Nathan Pearce probably had a bit of room to move. He thought the contact was about to happen. He actually had a little more space than he thought, but repeat entry here for North Launceston gives him another opportunity against the flow of general play. Harper handballs it back. Jack Event, hurried kick. Just really scrappy stuff here. You can see the rain continuing to tumble down at the Twin Ovals. Try to get the kick off the ground there. Cole, but the umpire's going to let this go and eventually take it on the paint of 50. 10 points the difference at the moment. 117, 25, 17. Gardner taps it down. Then Shannon first to it. Strong tackle later. Really strong tackle on Heath Ollington there. Couple of Devils going head to head in Clifford and Ollington. The umpire will take it once again. Right half forward here for the Northern Bombers. Gardner wins the tap down. Emerging with the football is Will Harper. His kick just, again, hung in the air. Just feel for those defenders who are sitting under the football at the moment, Drewy, with the ball holding up. You just hear the footsteps behind. It would not be great fun at all for them as the rain and wind continues to really wreak havoc.
There's going to be some very sore bodies in the change rooms at the end of this one, that's for sure, Anthony. Gardner won it decisively, but he won it to Jack Event. His kick was smothered. Pearce just got, well, sent in the fence almost in their back, I thought, pretty blatantly by Elisha Reid, and umpire lets him get away with it. Throw in. I think they are showing a little bit of leeway here this afternoon given the conditions, which is probably not an unreasonable call. As Gardner up against Harper on this occasion. Finally, someone gets a clearing kick away and just sent into space, and every player had pushed up into that little corner of the ground. Difficult one, just opting to go off the deck was Nankervis, because a bit of a second mouse gets the cheese type situation today. Pick it up and you're just going to be caught with it, so I don't mind that approach. Eventually trying to make something happen. Dominic Hay went the fend off. That's going to be holding the football. That's your prior opportunity gone. And the Tigers take over, but again, it's a pretty awful kick. This one's straight to Will Harper. It is very tough out there as now spot fires developing off the ball. Plenty of feeling out there as the physicality just ramps up. No one wants to pick the ball up because they know they're just going to get monstered every time they do. Eventually Ahern does, and he's wrapped up in a strong tackle. And it is so tough out there because it's so tough to get that clean first touch. You're almost assured you're going to fumble it. By the time you fumbled it, two blokes are going to be on top of you because this one's worked out the back. Clean at ground level was Eddie Cole. Can that lead to a chance? Jordan Lane, strong mark. Just size there, parked himself in front. Ethan Hubbard tried his hardest, but fair to say didn't have the reach in that matchup.
No, he did really well there, Jordan Lane. He read the ball well, and this is something he's done really well all year, those marks. He's been both the lead-up marks outside of 50, but also those big contested grabs. The goal kickings occasionally let him down, but he's just adding another dimension to this Kingborough Ford setup.
So a big opportunity for Jordan Lane. So Cox Goodyear missed one from a similar position late in quarter number one. There's Lane watching that kick. Chance to cut the margin to 4 points. And 2 goals in the opening 12 minutes of the quarter would be a good return. He's driven it straight through the middle. A lovely kick from Jordan Lane, and he cuts the deficit to 4. 2-1-13. North Launceston still holding sway, 2-5-17. But we probably haven't quite reached the halfway point of quarter number 2. So things going pretty well for the Tigers just at this moment.
Yeah, certainly are, and I think the fact they were able to absorb a couple of those repeat inside 50 entries from the Northern Bombers and not concede was a really big one. Now they've been able to kick a goal at the other end of the ground, and you're right, it was that clearing kick from the stoppage at half-back that just opened the game right up. We probably had the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game in one little post box of the ground, so a fantastic effort there from Kingborough to hit the scoreboard, and Jordan Lane, get goals from your big guys on a day like today. Tompkinson and Lane now hitting the scoreboard. It's always going to be a good sign.
Something you said for just slamming on the boot and gaining 40, 50 metres today, I think, Anth.
So we're back in the middle of the Twin Ovals. It's going to be Oscar Harper in the ruck now, up against Jack Tompkinson. Tompkinson wins it down. Umpire's whistle though. Free kick going the way of Kingborough. Riley Ashland is going to take the football. Ashland quick to move the ball inside 50. With the sit, Fletcher Bennett. In the end, it was punched away by his teammate. Lockie Griggs emerges with the footy. Gets it out to Cole. Cole with a kick around the corner. Coming from behind was Salter, unable to take the grab. Bennett again had front position. Dygan competing at ground level. Umpire will take it back. Quick to throw the ball up is the umpire. Carter wins the tap down, gets it back. Flying shot on goal here for Kingborough. Bennett on the last line of defence. Punches it into the post. Through for a minor score. They're looking threatening at the moment, Kingborough. It's North Launceston bring the ball back into play through Cowan.
Cowan just trying to pierce a little kick in there. Difficult day to pull that one off. Winning it back, Skidomski. He sends them deep inside 50. Gathering it was Nankervis. Taken from behind. No prior though. And there'll be a ball up inside defensive 50. Just keeping the ball in front of him, perhaps the key there for Corey Nankervis. Tough one again for the defender in that situation. Once more we have a stoppage where no one is going anywhere. There'll be a day where the rucks are involved in a very large number of contests. We'll see how Young Ives holds up through the afternoon. It's Harper in at this one, and again no one going anywhere fast. Nathan Pearce seems like a customer who'd thrive in these sorts of conditions. Enjoying the tough physical battle out there. Just working his man under the ball there was Tyler Carter. And then off the deck, trying to screw one through. Always a pretty tough chance that, just a minor score only. Back to 2 points though as they continue to make inroads. Now Cowan again. Very tough day. These halfbacks trying to hit up targets, and he's done pretty well to put it to his man's advantage, but the spoil came from behind there. The Tigers slam the elevator doors shut once more here. Closing in, trying to force the forwards with Sulzberger. Parker was in there. Umpire lets it go and it spills out the back. Can the Bombers get a clean kick away? Oh, absolutely nailed as he kicked it, and it impacted the kick too. Well, the umpire said not 15. Don't know about that. Eddie Cole trying to get in there. I think it was 15 metres across and about 30 in the air.
Yes, Zach Adams feeling a little stiff there. He actually did well to take the grab. And I think even the North Launceston players had stopped and then found out, no, we can lay a tackle here. So, anyway, interesting call from the umpire. Now we've got a ball in just inside attacking 50 for the Tigers. North Launceston just experiencing what Kingborough did in the first quarter, struggling to get the ball out of defensive 50. Again, that ball's been affected by the breeze. Thrown in once again.
They can fix the centre bounce by throwing it up. Not a whole lot you can do with the throw in.
He's spot on. That's a serious job on a day like today. Ball's thrown back in. Better one on that occasion. Tompkinson taps it down. The umpire's whistle for holding. Free kick. It's going to go the way of Tompkinson, I believe. Yes, it will be. So Tompkinson held by Oscar Harper. Just outside 50. Elijah Reardon sneaking around, putting a couple of the North Launceston players on notice. Tompkinson's just going to take his time here and with the breeze behind him, back himself in. Already has one goal for the term as Jack Tompkinson. He's going to be kicking this one better part of 55 as he begins his approach on goal. Jack Tompkinson, a long kick towards goal. Jack Tompkinson just punched through on the goal line. Tigers get their fourth behind of the quarter, 2-4-16, trailing the Northern Bombers 2-5-17.
And the breeze figured out, and the line dead on, just couldn't quite get the required distances. That one is nicely marked by Julian Parker. And he turns off into some space here, looks to hit up a target, just stabs one inside 50. Plenty of Bombers defenders back, fisted away by Fletcher Bennett. Kieran Lovell calling for insufficient intent, but a little bit harsh to be calling that one, I would have thought, as another Bombers player hitting the deck there. It was Bennett, perhaps getting some treatment after he dealt with it. There has been plenty of physical edge and a little niggle in this clash so far. Wet weather certainly bringing that about. Gathering ground level, but not cleanly was Hubbard. A little handball flicked out to Cole by Lovell to the top of the square, spoiled away from Griggs. Trying to gather as Nicholas got it across to Bennett. Handballed it back to Nankervis. They've done well there, the Bombers. Just keep the ball in motion, kept it going, and they work it up now. Defensive side of the wing in a 2-on-2, and they win it there too by hands. This is lovely stuff from the Bombers, but what a tackle that is. Driving stuff there from Godomski. Wins it back for the Tigers, and now they go inside 50. Fell out the back though to Nankervis. And Nankervis able able to compose himself and just chip it out into space. Just overrunning it slightly was Golding. Fell out the back for Mansarden, but tough day to have a bounce, young man. You learned that lesson. Don't think he'll try that one again. Just touch it down on the surface. Can't be risking the bounce. There's Harper. Steadies a kick to half forward. Spoil came from behind. Had a lot of that, but not paid the mark. There it was Bennett. Coming through. Cox Goodyear tries to use his strength. Draws the over-the-shoulder tackle. That's just pure strength. The tackle slipped as the player couldn't keep his footing on the ground. And that low centre of gravity of the strong Cox Goodyear helping him out there. He's kicked, though, really wind affected and just parking himself behind the ball. And yet another mark here for Big Tompkinson.
Yeah, Tompkinson, a couple of words to his opponent as well. He's on song today, Tompkinson. He looks up for the contest. That sort of day for the big man. They're going to have to be competing all around the ground as he drives the ball to the outer side. North Launceston with the numbers, but racing work there from the likes of Dygan and Gardner. Keep the ball in play. Nankervis's kick smothered by Lovell. Over and out for a throw in. Kingborough, some nice support. Everyone just tucked up under cover. Good to see some people in supporting the Tigers today in really torrential conditions as it's one down. Dygan tries to get the handball off to Lovell. The ball just rolls over and out for a throw in. There's certainly a bit of feeling, a bit of niggle in this game, and Kingborough with probably more experienced bodies around the ball, probably just starting to try and assert their authority and get in the face of their younger opposition. Just well and truly shoved off the ball there was the North Launceston ruckman in Theo Ives, who'll take the ball at half back. Ives with his left boot just drives the ball down the line. Tom Bennett has the sit, unable to take the grab. The fist coming in from Elijah Reardon. Will Clifford lays the tackle. Cox Goodyear has a little bit of room to move. A scrubbing kick towards half forward. First to the football was Lockie Clifford. He looks to go across. Griggs just lost his footing at the crucial time. Opening the door here for North Launceston. Ollington tackled. Good defence there by the Kingborough Tigers as Griggs kicks it towards half forward. Lane was the target, but North Launceston with the numbers as a Hearns kick goes back towards half forward for the Northern Bombers. Manshandon handballs over the top. He finds Sulzberger, who goes inside 50, and Lockie Griggs running back takes the ball. He's wrapped up. It's a touch footy. Have a stoppage just inside, attacking 50 for the visitors.
So can they conjure something from the inside 50 here? No one has managed to score to this end of the ground 22 minutes into quarter number 2. So the Bombers' credit, they've got the ball inside 50 more than the Tigers did in quarter number 1. So they're holding their own as we approach half-time, and it's still very close on the scoreboard here. It's a tight old contest. Can the Bombers do the almost unthinkable at this point? May just score at this end of the ground. Again, it hangs in the wind. Oh, dropping one he probably should have had there was the young man in Newitts. Spills out in favour of the Tigers, and they should be able to clear the area here. They do, and look at the wind catch a hold of that one. Clever little spoil from behind came from Golding. Would have been an important mark there, so he's done well. And the Tigers might be able to lock that one inside their forward half again. Nicely done by Golding. A very timely fist. So as the wind and rain continue to drive here at the Twin Ovals, it's the Bombers holding sway by a point in a arm wrestle, a slog, call it what you want. It is proper wet weather footy this. Eddie Cole came through, dropped the football. And the umpire is going to pay holding the ball against him. Here's Seth Campbell, just chips that one across. And the mark from Cox Goodyear. Thriving out there in these conditions, Cox Goodyear. His kicks don't even look as effective as the others, as this one's to a contested half forward. Can anyone get clean possession? Sliding in at ground level. A couple of Bombers trying. Bennett from the ground worked it forward to Campbell. Tumbles them inside 50 once more. Always playing in front though, the Tigers. Unable to gather it quite was Donnelly. This one's socket forward. There were some premature calls of insufficient intent. It might not even reach the line. Just held up in that heavy surface, and eventually it is out of play.
Yeah, I think Tyler Carter had his arms up just as it was touching the boot. So yeah, premature from him, but we'll get a throw in just on the wing. If North Launceston can somehow snag a goal against the Breeze, it's going to be such an important moment in this game.
1 point the difference late in the term. Scrappy ball here as Tompkinson decides to chip the ball off the ground. Smart work from Tompkinson. Ball only goes as far as Dom Hay. His kick just spilled at the last moment there by his teammate as they drive the ball inside 50, North Launceston. Pearce is down there, so's Tom Bennett. Cooper Sorty competing well. Zach Adams too. Harper gets the handball only as far as Adams. Adams with a hurried kick. Jack Event at the foot of the ball. Quickly moves the ball on, kicks inboard. Cox Goodyear unable to take the grab, but it's going to be high. He wants to play on Cox Goodyear. The umpire will say there's no advantage there, and you can see the Tiger players pleading with the umpire. Again, Cox Goodyear, the third or fourth time he's done that today, just using his strength to get himself in a good position. On that occasion, he's just been whacked over the head.
Well, given he was the one who opted to take the advantage, I think they're right to complain the Tigers, although perhaps they're going to get their own back here because he just nailed it through the middle and the umpire says no, come back. So perhaps the square up there immediately, but I would have thought that if someone else took it, you could say no advantage, bring back. When the player who's given the free ops to take it, knowing he's got it.
It was, we'll see if it's third time lucky now for Brad Cox Goodyear. He's had 2 looks at it already.
So this would be worth its weight in gold, that's for sure. No one's managed to score to this end of the ground so far. Cox Goodyear, he bends it back into the post. And a minor score only. And they lead by 2 points, first score of the day to this end of the ground. And the Bombers have done some attacking in this quarter. A tight contest developing. Reardon just torpedoes it to the centre wing almost. Worked out pretty nicely for them. Again, just get the ball forward any way you can. And that's going to be out for a throw in at half forward. No one there. Just got some good distance in the end.
Yeah, 2 kicks and you find yourself up to half forward. And that Elijah Reardon kick, looked like it was a taught, but I reckon that was just a regulation drop punt that just continued to carry.
Just floated a bit more, you reckon? You might be right.
This wind is wreaking havoc on this game. Tompkinson wins it down. Big ball to win here. Half forward for Kingborough, taken high. George O'Neill, the umpire says play on. Sulzberger, handballs over the top to Cox Goodyear. He's wrapped up in an O'Neill tackle. We'll have another stoppage.
Love the old man from the crowd just imploring the umpire to protect the head. Certainly didn't just want a free kick for his side. This one's worked inside 50. Carter thought about going, left it for the Bombers player who tumbles it off the deck and just holds up and allows Ollington to run onto it. That was a dicey kick. Hay got a fist to it. It wouldn't have mattered much anyway because the siren was imminent. And, well, we said we'd need to wait till half-time to judge the game to see whether the Bombers were well and truly in it. We have our verdict. They are up to their eyeballs in this one. 2-6-18 leads the Tigers. Big favourites coming into this one. 2-4-16. They managed to get a crucial behind perhaps going to that end. But look, as we see on the scoreboard, it has been a pretty even half of football. And that's well and truly reflected anyone's game. It's just going to be a real battle of endurance, I think, and who's got that little bit extra in the tank.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, despite kicking with the breeze, the game was probably played in North Launceston's half for the back half of that second term. So, yeah, as you said, Drewy, we're really up for a good game here. North Launceston, with such a young team, in wet conditions against a lot of big, mature bodies, are doing a really good job. As you said, it's going to be a test of endurance to see how they go in the second half. It's Nathan Pearce and Blade Sulzberger with goals for North Launceston, Jordan Lane and Jack Tompkinson with majors for the Tigers. This is going to be a low-scoring, scrappy affair. Big second half coming up next on the Daily Potato Co. TSL live stream. We'll take a short break. Second half coming up after that.
Welcome back to the Twin Ovals. A big second half coming up on the Daily Potato Co. TSL live stream. Huge game here between the Kingborough Tigers and the North Launceston Bombers. It's a 2-point difference at the main break. North Lonnie, they lead 2-6-18 to Kingborough 2-4-16. It's been, it will continue to be, dare say at this stage, a quarter of just making the most of your opportunities with the wind behind your back. Both sides able to kick 2 goals to the left-hand side of screen when they've been kicking that way. Big second half coming up to see which side is able to make the most of their opportunities as we kick things off in the middle of the ground. Jordan Lane is going to do the ruck work up against Theo Ives. Ives robes it at ground level, immediately gets the ball off to Lockie Cowan, who drives it inside 50. Can North Launceston hit the scoreboard in the opening seconds? They do! Tom Bennett kicks the goal along the ground. Pearce was in the front position, but Bennett swoops in, hits the scoreboard. We thought 40 seconds was quick in the second term for the Tigers, Drewy. North Lonnie have just halved it.
Yeah, Godomski claiming a touch. The umpire saying absolutely not. It looked a pretty good goal to me. Clinical finish there. Ruud van Nistelrooy type there. Close range, just sliding in and powering it home there. And a great start from the Bombers as they get out to an 8-point lead. And yes, early goals in both the second and third quarters of this match. And certainly the dream start for a Bombers side who feel they are well and truly in this contest here this afternoon. They're taking it up to the Tigers. Came in as pretty big outsiders, but they're doing well in the wet and wild here at the Twin Ovals. Perfect start, just forced forward there by Jordan Lane. Doing a little pirouette in there, almost was a vent. Couldn't get a decisive clearance away. The big fella Ives trying to gather it at ground level. Did so, got the handball away and then swung forward there to Mansarden, who's going to take his time and try and find a marking target inside 50. Floats it into the pocket. Who can keep their feet? Absolutely nobody. Pearce comes through, taking in a strong tackle by Godomski. Quick handball released by Zach Adams. Going in low was Max College. No one able to get a clean disposal till eventually Nicholas came away with it and sent the Bombers inside 50. Pearce went the tackle, not wanting to pick that ball up was Griggs. He knew that that was going to be a lost cause, and in the end does pretty well to get a stoppage inside 50. Lane nominates. Won it down though, didn't get much purchase on it. They burrow in once more. And the umpire quick to blow another ball up.
Another attacking opportunity here for North Launceston. Tom Bennett competing against Jordan Lane. Lane wins it down. Bradcock Goodyear was first to it, just overruns the footy. Adams' handball goes over the top to Clifford, who links up with Kieran Lovell. Lovell's been strong today, perhaps not as prolific as he often is. Dygan wrapped up in a tackle by Nicholas on the wing. Another stoppage here for umpire Geeson. Ives wins the tap down, bounces into the hands of Luke Graham, who quickly screws one around the corner. Big ball to win here. Connor Salter had the footy, lost the footy. Gardner now links up with Cole. Cole's kick. You can see the wind just taking that to the other side of the ground. Ollington first to the footy. Chipping kick over the top to Manshandon, who's been lively so far, the small forward. Waits for the runner, eventually goes there. Handball goes back in from Ahern. Graham, dinky kick along the ground, it's a good one. Finds Zach Adams, who's just pushed as he kicked the footy. Affected the kick. Cole chips a kick towards half forward. Fletcher Bennett first to the footy. Stops, props, dances around Gardner, dances around Tompkinson. Just misses his teammate in Van Dam. Puts Cowan under the pump. Carter, that's a clean coat hanger. Didn't have to put any extra on that. Tyler Carter quickly moves the ball on. It's a good kick. Kieran Lovell drops what he'd take 9 times out of 10. Cox Goodyear brings him to ground. Big ball to win here at half forward for Kingborough. Lovell comes back in and lays the tackle, and a few afters there between a couple of the players from North Launceston. Not too happy with Kieran Lovell's work. Umpire Geeson throws the ball back up once again. Ives dishes a handball off, but it's been an off-field incident there. Off-play incident, I should say. Free kick going the way of Luke Graham. See there, Dom Hay was very cautious of giving the ball back on the full to Luke Graham. I think he thought if he tried a handball through, the breeze was going to take it an extra 10 metres. Luke Graham with ball in hand at half forward. As we've seen, this is a really, really difficult kick from this sort of distance, so we'll see what he decides to do. He's got a couple of tall targets right on the goal line. To this point, he's looking to back himself in. He's got Carter on short, Tompkinson on a little bit closer to goal. Luke Graham is going to run his full measure, and then he takes a bit off the kick. It's a lovely pass in the direction of a teammate in Salter. He's unable to take the grab. Eddie Cole funnels a handball out, but picking the pocket is Jack Event. Event goes in the direction of Tom Bennett. It's punched over the line by Cooper Sorty. Over and out for a throw in.
So 5 minutes into the third quarter. A goal in the opening 20 seconds going the way of the Bombers to extend their lead to 8 points. They'll probably want to build around about a 3-goal lead, you'd say, to three-quarter time to fancy themselves. Anything else, and the Tigers would probably be favourites to rein it in the final term. Goals at an absolute premium as Cox Goodyear just goes off the deck, blasted it high a good 40 metres, and taking a nice mark at half-back was Elijah Reardon. The wind has died down a little, but still very slippery. That was surely out of play from big Jordan Lane there. You can see players opting to try and punch these low passes to keep it under the wind. It's anything with any sort of height on it just holding up, and very tough to get the ball moving forward. Lovely bit of ruck work there from Lane. Got it over the top to Adams. He sends them the half forward. Reading it well was Bennett, but he spilt the mark. Coming through, Dominic Hay. Little handball out the top to Hubbard. He chips it just too far out ahead of Ollington, who eventually will try and gather. By the time he does, Clifford came to pressure him. Oh, clean there was Brandon Leary. Really nice stuff from the young man. His kick left a lot to do for Cox Goodyear, though. Can anyone take clean possession as the ball's just being forced towards the Bombers' goal? Back there was Zach Adams, who sends an ugly punt into the middle. Tompkinson competed well against for the big man. The numbers eventually went out for the Bombers, though. Sulzberger, he's buried. Coming in over the top's Chug. It is a tough physical battle out there, Anthony.
Yeah, it just shows the importance of that first touch. Sulzberger, if he took that first go, he was out. That second touch just brings in the pressure, and the tackle's laid. You have the stoppage in the middle of the ground. It's really difficult conditions for both sides as Ashland just kicks the ball off the ground. Sam Dygan going to be first to it. He's got Nicholas for company. Nicholas does really well, Mitch Nicholas. The umpire's going to say, holding the football. Youngster did a fantastic job. Caught up to Devils squad recent weeks. He goes out wide to Will Harper. Starting to find his feet in the red and black, Will Harper. He drives the ball inside 50. The mark's taken on the second grab by Theo Ives. Really good work there from the big man. He was up against Jordan Lane and just read the ball really well.
Yeah, good pair of hands. Not a case of the big fella's doing pretty well in tough conditions. Not the type of conditions you associate with the big, tall ruckman or marking forwards. But that's where the majority of the goals and scoring chances have come from today. And Theo Ives, it'll be a tough kick, but big chance to extend the lead to 14 here.
Tight angle for Theo Ives to work with. Big, big day for him. A lot of responsibility on his shoulders. The young man comes in. Shot for goal, always in the field of play. Bennett flew. Unable to take the grab, and you can see he's got the look on his face as well. He knew that was a golden opportunity. Just couldn't quite reel it in.
Literally slipped through his fingers.
Yeah.
Lovely leap presented at the pole. Textbook up to the point where it just couldn't quite close the hands on it. Ball back into play. That man Bennett casting the role of ruckman this time. Handball out the side from Parker to O'Neill, who was always seeking the safety of the boundary line. And found it. So 8 points the margin here. It's been a good start in quarter number 3 for the Bombers. Rain continuing to tumble here at the Twin Ovals. Tompkinson won it down. Leary immediately wrapped up by 2. On the bottom of that pack. It's going to be an absolute battle of attrition here this afternoon, you sense. Who's going to be able to run this one out the stronger? There'll be some tired bodies as we progress. Tompkinson's been great. Eventually This one spilt out the back. Players just knocking it forwards off the deck rather than taking possession for the time being. Eventually opting to do so was Dominic Hay, and that's why players are just moving it on by whacking it forwards. The moment you do, you're wrapped up in this contest. So hard to get any kind of meterage out there today, Anth.
Yeah, certainly right. And yeah, anything just surging the ball forward is going to be the recipe for the rest of the afternoon, you'd think, as the Tigers quickly bring the ball out of the stoppage. Trying to kick off the ground there was Hubbard, unable to do so. Eddie Cole lays the tackle, as does Sam Dygan. So almost 10 minutes gone in this third quarter, just the one goal so far, which came in the first 30 seconds of the term. Cole emerges with the football. His kick in the direction of Lane. Lane does well to trap the footy, unable to take it cleanly in the end. Nice work there from Dom Hay, starting to work his way into this game. He goes out wide to Newitt. Isaac Newitt stops and props. He's got Harper presenting on short. Opts to go a little bit longer. Does Newitt. Drives the ball inside 50. Bennett had the sit, unable to take the grab. Godomski links up with Tompkinson. Sulzberger unable to take the ball, and now the Tigers will bring it out of defence via Parker. Scrappy ball to win here on the wing. Dygan does well. Gets the handball back to Lockie Clifford. Clifford tries to shrug one tackle. Unable to do so, Lockie Clifford. Free kick going to go the way of Jack Event. Clifford just trying to hold things up a little bit for his defenders, but Jack Event to drive the ball inside 50 here for North Launceston. A long ball from Event. Tompkinson had the sit, slips through his hands. Parker goes to Griggs. Just decides to kick into a little bit of space. Lovell first to the footy. Cowan for company. Over and out for a throw in.
11 minutes have ticked by in quarter number 3. Just that goal in the first 20 seconds, no behinds. It was 18-16 at half-time, wasn't it? So literally the only score coming 20 seconds into the quarter. It has been pretty tough to score here today. Tompkinson's influence has been profound. Another strong tackle laid. Getting boot to ball was Ashland in the midst of that. The Tigers through Lovell, try and clear the area. Tough one for Gardner. 2 players tight to him, wearing him like a cheap suit, and Gardner pretty happy for a stoppage. Not the type of game you'd like to see every week, but I don't mind the occasional game like this.
Yeah, good, tough, hard footy.
Ugly it may be, low scoring it may be, but gripping, and everyone having to work so hard. Every goal worth its weight in goals, especially if you can get one to the non-scoring end as the Bombers work it forwards again. Umpire spotted something. I think it was just that it was out of play when the ball hit boot. Will be tossed back into play, half forward for the Bombers. 8-point lead. Probably fancy they'd like to kick another 2 this quarter. Just extend that lead somewhere out towards the 20-point region. 2 goals, and it's pretty even, maybe with a slight Tigers lean. As it stands, the Tigers would be favoured heading into the last, as taking it out of the ruck and kicking it forward was Tompkinson. Took a bounce into the breadbasket of Bennett and then just worked forward by Gardner. Strong from Eddie Cole, and then got a kick from the deck. That went straight to Event. I thought Gardner took a man off the ball there. Allowed to get away with it. And it floats out of bounds on the full.
It's interesting that Tigers, the strength they've had in recent years on a day like today has been they've been such a short side. And this new look Kingborough outfit this year has almost got the opposite problem. So far, it doesn't seem to be hindering them too much, but just how that plays if the rain continues to come down late into the last quarter with so many tall targets around the ground, just how they can compete at ground level will be really interesting to watch. As Gardner funnels that ball out, Tigers look to bring the ball back down to half forward. Cole lays the tackle. Fletcher Bennett keeps the ball in play and is eventually taken over and out for a throw in. And conversely, North Launceston, with so many young teenagers playing against some bigger bodies, how they can hold up in such a grind and such a grueling contest. As you said, war of attrition. Which side's able to sustain the competitiveness for the longer period. As Ashland had the front position, the umpire's blowing the whistle. Free kick. Well, might be replaying the boundary throw in.
They're going to try and get it to the rucks rather than the Rovers.
Yeah, these conditions making it hard yakka for the boundary umpires, doing a good job. Ives and Tompkinson to compete once again. Tompkinson, deft little tap down in the direction of Ashland. Griggs funnels the ball along the ground. So Griggs receives the tap along the ground, but his kick only goes as far as Ethan Hubbard. Had a bit of the ball across half back. He brings the ball in, sets a task for his teammate, Reardon, at ground level. Ashland. Now Tompkinson, who's had plenty of the football this afternoon. His hurried kick doesn't really go anywhere. Sets a task for George O'Neill. He's got Lovell there in support. Competing well. North Launceston, Seth Campbell. Over and out for a throw in.
You can see by the trees the wind picking back up and howling once more. Making life very, very tough out there. 8 points the advantage in favour of the Bombers. Even gaining 20 metres is considerable effort here this afternoon, and in the throw a little bit short from the boundary umpires, but geez, a tough afternoon for them as well as the players. They'll go again here as it's out of play. Got immense respect for anyone who's willing to just run up and down the line in these type of conditions and hurl the ball back into play into a hurricane-like force repeatedly. Well done to them. They've got a pretty busy afternoon themselves with the amount of throw-ins we've seen as the ball being sucked into this little quarter of the ground repeatedly. This one sent into the middle. Just pitches in front of everyone. Can anyone get clean possession? Fighting away at ground level, scrapping in there was Cole. He's immediately pounced upon. Trying to get it away was Jack Event. He's dealt with by Adams. Getting a good handball out in the end event. Did really nicely. Got to Fletcher Bennett. Bennett bounces off half back and they'll clear towards the wing. The contest there, it floated over both their heads and just pitches and skids and then stays in play. Allow the little tumble off the ground forward. Clever play that. Can the Bombers forwards make something of this? Leary with a lingering tackle. Cleared away by Godomski. Had to be clean, Ashland, and was. Slung as he kicked. Up towards Gardner on the wing. The spoils came from behind. Gathered by Clifford. Lovell was there too, and he's just scored it out of play. And yet another throw, and I think the wind's picked up even more. We've seen a whole bunch of play played in this little part of the ground in the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's just not getting out of there at the moment. And I think Lockie Godomski once again did a really good job in defence. They're holding up pretty well at the moment, the Kingborough defence.
Definitely.
16.5 gone in this quarter, and just the 1 goal on the scoreboard going the way of North Launceston. Such an arm wrestle this as the ball goes out. Direction of Parker. His kick just a high up and under. That hasn't gone far at all. Tompkinson using his body weight to get in. Parker just loses his footing at the crucial moment. Tom Bennett drives the ball inside 50 for North Launceston. Leary's out the back, but will beat all comers to the boundary line and for a throw in.
Can they find a second goal? 16 minutes since anyone even registered a behind in this game. It has got so hard to score in a game that was already really, really tough in that regard. Thrown in once more. Event. Kieran Lovell. He clears the defensive 50. Pitches in front of Gardner. Did pretty well, the big fella there. The kick smothered up towards the wing. Trying to keep his feet was lame, but it spilled out the back for Vandam. The Bombers again coming away with it, and they'll send it inside 50. And Godomski just cleverly parking himself behind the ball. He's wrapped up in a really strong tackle by Will Harper there, though. Real size disparity, but he sent him to the deck with authority.
Yeah, really good tackle pressure from Harper, and he's done a bit of that today, competing really well. Tompkinson slaps that ball down in the direction. His teammate Adams is going to be the beneficiary on the outer side. His kick, as always, up against the boundary rope. Over and out on the full. So Bradcock's Goodyear's influence this quarter, probably a little down on his second quarter particularly, Drewy.
Yeah, it's waned a little, hasn't it? He was everywhere in quarter number 2, but he can have an influence here if he can find a marking target. Again, Tompkinson, speaking of influence on the contest, he's not just in his hit-outs, he's had more touches than just about anyone today, I reckon. He has been everywhere.
Yeah, he's been immense, and I think the talk pre-season was that he'd be more of a forward ruck, spend most of his time inside 50, but he's really become the key ruck for them and has allowed Marcus Gardner to spend more time inside 50. It's been a really shrewd pickup from the Tigers.
We've seen him in that almost modern trend of using the ruckman as the extra behind the ball at marking contests. Been very effective in helping them hold the line in the third quarter here. Most of the Bombers' attacks have ended with Tompkinson, to my eye.
Yep. And if it has been Tompkinson, it's been Lockie Godomski at ground level. So they're holding up really well at the moment, the Tigers, and you can see just the 1 goal so far this quarter. In a good position, but as we know, it just seems to have really dried up scoring, regardless of which end you're kicking at in this third term.
Free kick to Gardner in the ruck. That'll relieve the pressure that was building up on them here. Continue to hold the line. A couple offering short, but probably better off kicking slightly further afield to a contest, and he does. Trying to juggle the mark was Lane. Couldn't quite complete the transaction. Slinging tackle there. And not overly well received, and just giving him a little bit back there as another spot fire breaks out. And the umpire has perhaps wisely just picked a free kick here just to get on with it. It'll go the way of the Bombers. They'll take it quickly. And that one sent inside 50, floating ball, fisted away by Sorty. Elijah Reardon at the back, just a bit too much pepper on the handball for Clifford though, and a good result for the Bombers.
Haven't seen too many players take the ball cleanly at pace like that though. That was just Elijah Reardon showing his class. Handball let him down, but he swooped on the ball quickly. Also just want to acknowledge that it was young Willman Shandon taking it up to Jordan Lane, a man about half his size. Just trying to throw his weight around there was young man Shandon. This ball bubbling around in a dangerous position for the Kingborough defence. O'Neill takes the football. Had Pearce for company. He's more than happy to take it over the line. Still copped one a little high as well. Dangerous spot here for the Kingborough defence. Ball to be thrown in. Ives and Gardner. Gardner wins it down to Graham. Graham, who's spending more time on ball today. It's going to be a free kick going the way. Cole eventually going to bring it back. It's going to be a free kick going the way of Graham.
Cole looked up to the wing and saw nobody there and went, no thank you, no advantage.
Wise decision, I think, from Eddie Cole. I thought it may have potentially been a legal disposal from Graham at first. I was waiting for the umpire's call, but Graham drives the ball out of defensive 50 to the outer side. Lane flies for the ball, unable to take the grab. Nicholas handballs it back to Manshandon, who quickly drives the ball towards 50. Luke Graham spills the mark. Somehow keeps the ball in play. Pearce eventually sees it over for another throw in.
So they are knocking on the door here, but the Tigers doing a really good job just holding the line, keeping that margin at 8 points and not allowing a score. Plenty of bodies back behind the ball. They're grimly holding on. They know they can make their move in the final term with the wind at their backs. The Bombers need another goal, and a good man to spark it is Cox Goodyear. He sends them deep inside 50 here. Elijah Reardon got a fair bit of purchase on the spoil. The Bombers first to the ball, though. It's Hay who's wrapped up. Well, not really wrapped up in the end, just stopping his tackle midway through was Reardon. Curious there.
He almost looked around at the umpire immediately like that was enough. It was an odd one from Elijah Reardon, but a fantastic tackle. He's had a couple of good moments in the last few minutes.
It might well have been a free kick if he kept it going. Anyway, play continues and Kieran Lovell gets a clearance of about 15 metres despite getting a fair bit on it. Mark paid to Connor Salter, who takes that one and sends them further afield looking for Lane. Parked in front was Ethan Hubbard. He had a lot of that, not paid by the umpire. His disposal's been a little iffy today, Ethan Hubbard, but his marking of the ball's been really good in the back line. I've enjoyed his work back there.
Yeah, and he was really impressive in round one against Glenorchy, and I think it was that performance that really rocketed him up into Devils contention as well. It's a really likely type for them. Cowan emerges with the football, quick kick. Leary attacked the ball at pace, but Reardon trapped it well. He goes off to Godomski. Godomski with a floating kick finds Luke Graham on the wing. He thought about moving it on, but knows just how difficult it is to move the ball this direction of the ground. He hoists it long. The mark's not quite taken by Fletcher Bennett. Competing at ground level, perhaps a little agricultural there from George O'Neill. High contact, free kick to be taken by Declan Chugg. So just ticked over 23 minutes. 2-4-16 plays 3-6-24. Still just the one goal kicked in this quarter, and it was 20 seconds into the term. That ball just goes over the head of Cooper Sorty. Cox Goodyear with a clever little kick along the ground. Lockie Clifford ducked his head, emerging with the football here, North Launceston. Shot on goal from Campbell, just missing. Minor score. So that's the second score of the quarter. Behind 3-7-25 plays 2-4-16.
I wonder what the record is in TSL for least amount of scoring shots in a quarter. One or two would have to be pushing us.
Well, you know, he has a lot of information, David Ingram, but I'll send him a message in a sec and just see if he can pull something out of his hat.
You got that number for me, Dinger? Because it'd have to be up there. Probably not lowest scoring, even there's been a goal, and there's probably been a goal scored before. But 2 scoring shots for the term. Quite remarkable. And pretty important last few minutes coming up here. If the Bombers can get another one and just make it that the Tigers need 3 goals in that final quarter. That would be enormous. Because whilst they only need 2, you'd probably still just fancy them. But on an absolute knife's edge this game, it is a gripping arm wrestle of a contest. As again, Tompkinson won it down. But the Bombers first to the fall of the ball. Leary trying to get in there, but Reardon's been really good the last few minutes. Leary somehow got his kick away, almost marking it was Bennett. Top of the square, here's Harper at ground level, the big man. Just flicked it on out, thrown almost by Harper. They're just trying to work it into space. They had a man out there, but the tackling pressure fantastic from the Tigers, and they hold it on in there as they have all quarter. The desperation defending has been fantastic from these Tigers.
It's just gripping footy, this, Drewy. It's really good fun to watch. It's tough, contested. Desperation being shown by both sides.
Another stoppage inside 50 here. 25 minutes tick by in quarter number 3. And a lot of stoppages, not many goals, so it won't be too long the quarter. Trying to find some space here is Ives. Did he take the man on? I thought he did. But over the shoulder's the call.
Yeah.
Well, Ives goes in, wins the ball, gets the reward. I suppose it had to be one or the other. It was either ball or over the shoulder. The umpire says over the shoulder. And this, suffice to say, Anthony, is an enormous kick.
It is an enormous kick. Dead right. 1 goal for the quarter in the first 20-30 seconds. And similar position to where we saw Ives have a shot in the first term, I believe it was. And that one sprayed to keep in play, but big opportunity for him here.
So can Ives extend the lead to 15 points here? I mean, the Tigers would probably need to double their score in the final term. He can't. He hung it near side and it never looked likely. And a minor score only and a 10-point margin. It's still going to be a very interesting final quarter as it stands. Elijah Reardon's been really good in the last 10 minutes of this football game. He sends them outside the defensive 50 here. The swirl came, and they're first to the pounce there as he works it towards the half-forward line and sets a foot race there for Nicholas up against O'Neill. Nicholas was composed. He did nicely. That wasn't so composed, though. Invited all sorts of danger. Plenty of Tigers now perhaps able to get it forwards. Free kick blown in favour of Clifford. Can he strike a late blow here for the Tigers? Big attacking incursion. They've not had many this quarter. Can they find something? Squares it to Adams. Adams wanted a lead in the pocket and then kicked it almost straight into the ground. Slinging handball from Dominic Hay back into dispute. Reardon with a volley from the middle of the pack. Extraordinary. Wouldn't have been 15 metres, so no one wanted to mark it. Eventually a kick wrangled on out of there. Donnelly, Reardon starting to have an influence. That was extraordinary. Slid in, tried to kick from behind his body rather than getting it. What have I just witnessed, Anthony?
It's hard to actually put that into words, to be honest with you, Andrew. That was something else from Elijah Reardon. Didn't quite work out for him, but we'll have to get that up during the week. That was extraordinary. Cooper Sorty back in play. Handballs it off to Will Clifford. Clifford's kicked down the line. Almost finds a target. Nice tackle there by Mitch Nicholas. Umpire will eventually take it, but just a really interesting couple of minutes of football. There was the missed kick off the mark. There were just all sorts of things going on, and yeah, really, culmination was that Elijah Reardon effort. But
well, the kick off the ground's one thing, but just do it kind of backwards in a sliding motion is extraordinary. Keeping him surprised, it's fair to say. Lovell can't get separation. It's a 10-point ball game as we turn for the final quarter here. And the stage is set for a grandstand finish. 26 plays 16. They kicked 2 goals to the scoring in last time they had it. The Bombers managed a behind. If that were to repeat, it'd be a 1-point game. It's just very, very evenly poised, this match, heading into the last quarter. We are in for a thriller here, I think, Anthony.
Yeah, certainly are. Just the 1 goal, 2 for the quarter from North Launceston, and 2 of those behinds coming in the last 5 minutes or so. For the most part, it was just that first goal, the Tom Bennett major off the ground in the first 20 seconds of the contest, and apart from that, it was really just locked in the middle of the ground. A couple of pockets of the ground that, you know, would have extended periods of play where the ball was unable to get out, and yeah, we've got the game on a knife's edge heading into the final term. 16 plays 26. Nathan Pearce, Tom Bennett, Blade Sulzberger, the goal kickers for North Launceston, Jordan Lane and Jack Tompkinson for the Kingborough Tigers.
Don't go anywhere. This final quarter is going to be must-watch viewing. 10 points of difference at the Twin Ovals. Daily Potato Co. TSL live stream. Final quarter action coming up next. Welcome back to the Twin Ovals. We have a huge final quarter coming up. Round 7 TSL action. Kingborough Tigers, North Launceston Bombers. It's 10 points the difference in favour of the visitors. 3-8-26 to Kingborough at 2-4-16. Kingborough kicking with the breeze in this final quarter. But with North Launceston defending
so well throughout the game so far. This game could go either way. Andrew Cooling with the opening bounce of the final term.
So we've had early goals in quarters number 2 and 3. Will that trend continue here? The Bombers are the ones who look to get the clearance, but brought down was Cowan in a great last-ditch tackle. It'll be the Tigers inside 50, but a good relieving mark taken by Sulzberger. Just parking himself back there, taking the relieving mark. And driving it here as our clock has stopped, sorry for the viewers there, add a few seconds on mentally. Pearce picks it up, dumped in a tackle, came out the back and a chance perhaps for Lockie Clifford, took an awkward bounce. Thomas Bennett trying to get it forwards, but just a rather rushed kick and straight out of bounds on the full. It'll be the Tigers to take over at half back. Can they get 2 goals in this final term? If the Bombers were to kick one, that might just about be curtains. It would be enormous.
Yeah, we haven't even been close to kicking a goal at that end of the ground all afternoon. If they can do that, it would be huge. As Clifford drives the ball down the ground. Jordan Lane was the target. Jack Event is going to be first to it at ground level. His kick off the ground only goes as far as Elijah Reardon, who was involved in everything. The good, the bad and the ridiculous late in that third quarter. His kick down the line. Gardner and Salter were there. Dygan's the one competing at ground level. Emerging with the football there. This Chug wrapped up in a big tackle by Dygan. The umpire's going to reward Sam Dygan's work. Dygan quickly back off his mark. Looks to drive the ball inside 50 to Sam Dygan. A big kick deep. Carter was the target. Lockie Griggs inside 50 as well. Kieran Lovell, what can he do? Just gets a kick away, but he'd already done a 360. The umpire said, had the prior opportunity. Free kick going the way of Mitch Nicholas.
Clear out, says the umpire, as Nicholas takes over at half back. The Bombers did manage, was it A behind, kicking to that end of the ground, whereas the Tigers have 2 scoreless quarters going that way.
Correct.
Cox Goodyear hitting the post. He almost got the 6-pointers. That could have been a massive moment in the game. But far from that, all the scoring's been done at this end of the ground. As you can tell by the score, for those just tuning in, it has not been a whole lot. So very much on the knife's edge this game as it's sent inside 50 by Donnelly. They all fly. Can anyone get clean possession? Cox Goodyear just goes off the deck there. Gets some good purchase on it. Great tackle from behind Cooper Sorty. Not rewarded. Play continues. Jack Event couldn't get clean possession. They work it forwards. And Kieran Lovell is wrapped up in another strong tackle. So can they get a couple of goals here? As you can see by that score, they got 16 points attacking this end in quarter number 2. That may well be enough for them to get the win here today if they were to repeat that. But, geez, scoring's been so tough. Great tackle there by Nathan Pearce. It has been a physical match. Who's got what left in the tank's probably going to be the other thing. We've mentioned a battle of attrition on a couple of occasions, and that's, I think, really going to be a telling factor the longer we go here in the final term. Jordan Lane got about 20 metres on that ruck tap. Some good work there. Pitches awkwardly. Nicely done on the angle. Sends it into the forward pocket, and that's a really nice mark taken by Corey Nankervis. And the Bombers will take over deep in defence.
Nankervis brings the ball back into play. Down the line. Able to take the grab was Cowan. Ollington down the line in the direction of Tom Bennett, who takes the mark. Haven't seen too many of those sorts of grabs this afternoon. Tom Bennett, who opened the goal scoring in the third quarter, kicking the only goal of the term. A tight kick against the boundary line. Mark's taken by Jack Event. Slow, meticulous stuff here from North Launceston. Event opts to go a little further down the line. Gardner had the sip. It was a touch ball. Bouncing ball here. Able to take the grab. The ball's one down. Sulzberger is going to be first to it. Underground handball in the direction of Cowan. Cowan's met by his fellow number 9, Kieran Lovell. Over and out for a throw in. North Launceston, of course, doing this today without 3 of their best players. Alex Lee, Ben Simpson and Michael Stingle all out. Simpson and Lee, of course, co-captains. Not sure what happens with the captaincy North Launceston today. Maybe Tom Bennett or Jack Event with the captain's armband on. Have a ball up just here on the wing. They're showing a lot of maturity, this young North Launceston side. conditions obviously playing a factor, but really taking it up to one of the better teams in the comp as Clifford kicks the ball into the middle of the Twin Ovals. Taking the ball was Golding, immediately wrapped up in a tackle, potentially driven into the ground. Umpire lets it roll on. Eventually will take it now inside the centre square of the Twin Ovals.
So 5.5 played, no change to the score here. 10 points to the margin as the Tigers try and reel in the Bombers side. Cohen with an up and under. That'll be play on, so no one even bothers to try marking it. The quick handball was slick, but unfortunately couldn't quite be gathered. Just keeping it out in front of him there was Gadomski. Worked it wide and then a creative little kick inside 50. Just shielding the ball with his big presence there was Tompkinson. Then flicked one into the space. Tyler Carter was there, immediately dispossessed. And the umpire was paid holding the ball, I think. So red hot there on Tyler Carter. And it's going to be Nankervis who takes the free kick. Chips into the pocket there for Heath Ollington. Ollington uses some dash and cleverly just puts it down on the deck rather than opting for a bounce, although in the end didn't run much further, maybe didn't need to. Handball back inside. Bombers had some success with this in quarter number 2 with a chain of handballs off half-back. Breaks up a little on this occasion though, as it descends once more into a scrap on the wing and out of play for yet another stoppage.
Thank you to Josh Partridge from the Examiner newspaper solving the mystery. Tom Bennett, captain today for North Launceston. Of course, Brad Cox-Goodyear playing coach as well, so still some strong leadership out there for them, but doing this today without Simpson, without Lee, and without young gun Michael Stingle. The ball's thrown back into play. Quick kick there from Adams. Now Kieran Lovell's going to chip the ball inside 50. A big ball to win here. Nankervis kicks it out in front of himself. He's got Tyler Carter for company. Carter continuing to work for this football. Eventually gets to the paint of 50. Nankervis, competing at ground level, just does really well there as Nankervis. Kieran Lovell swooping on the football. Nankervis wraps him up in a tackle. Then Shandon doesn't get the ball too far. Edward Golding wrapped up by a couple of Bombers. Desperate stuff here from both sides. Ben Donnelly just hoists the ball inside 50. A couple of tall targets there. 3 of them, in fact, in Lane, Carter and Tompkinson. Unable to take the grab. Ball goes out of defensive 50, but only as far as Kieran Lovell. He's going to bring the ball back in with interest. He looks for Jordan Lane. Almost takes the grab on the second go. Lane lays the tackle. Not sure how he got rid of the football. The umpire says play on. Godomski's handball finds Tompkinson. Now a bouncing ball here for George O'Neill in the pocket. O'Neill up and under kick. Big ball to win. North Launceston with the numbers here. They've done well. Dom Hay brings the ball across the defensive arc, but it's going to come back in here for the Tigers. Running back, Brandon Leary takes the mark, and now a big ball to win, and it's won by Theo Ives at half-back.
So Ives taking the mark there and just slowing it down. Jack Ahern, a very lucky boy moments ago as he fended off and spun round and got caught cold turkey. Allowed the play on as this one's worked to Isaac Newitt there. Patiently moving the ball up here as the rain gets even heavier at the Twin Ovals. Had a man in all sorts of space. Quick handball. Cox-Goodyear, a good man to give it to. Wheels from 50. Just stabs one into the pocket. Found a teammate there from the angle trying to make something happen there. It was Hay. And at the teeth of goal, Pearce picks it up. Won it back. Gets a shot. Gets a goal. Nathan Pearce has scored to the end from which you simply have been unable to do so. And a 16-point break at this stage of the game may well prove pivotal. It looked for the world like a stoppage was coming, and he just picked it up, stood up, slammed it through the middle, and that is an enormous goal, Anthony Osborne.
Absolutely. Nathan Pearce, his second goal of the day, and 2 goals in a 6-goal game. Fantastic effort from Pearce, and as you said, just a goal out of absolutely nothing. Cox-Goodyear had the composure to chip the ball into the pocket. I think Ben Shannon was down there, and they just moved the ball towards goal, and we haven't even had looks at goal that close up that end of the ground. And Nathan Pearce makes something out of nothing, and this is now a really big buffer for Kingborough to overcome. 2-4-16 plays 4-8-32. Kingborough are going to have to more than double their score from here to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly 2 quarters, you can almost take that out, but still, 16 points they've got in a quarter and 10 minutes. I think 3 goals in probably the final, 20 minutes maybe of action, including time on. Going to be very tough from here.
Kingborough with it all to do. Got an opportunity here, a free kick going the way of Riley Ashland.
in the heart of the ground. Ashland quick to move the ball on as the rain gets even heavier. He drives it in the direction of Tompkinson. Ball spills out the back. Attacking it at pace there was Hubbard. Salzberger involved as well. Hubbard again throwing himself in at the bottom of the pack. Retrieving the football on that occasion was Ollington. Jordan Lane lays the tackle. Wraps Hearn up in a really strong tackle. The umpire says it's going to be a free kick. I think it might be going the way of Jack Ahern. A few pleasantries being exchanged. And a free kick going to go the way of Ahern. Dangerous tackle from Jordan Lane. So North Launceston repel once again. Very short kick from Ahern. Umpire says too short. Play on. Hubbard over the top.
Just 15.
Yeah, they're flirting with danger at the moment, North Lonnie. That ball's now in the arms of Heath Ollington. He's going to look to switch the football, is Ollington. Had a man in plenty of space who spills it. Dangerous moments here for Jack Ahern. Recovers well enough and kicks out wide, but his kick is going to be over and out on the full. So the North Lonnie defence have 20 seconds or so to prepare themselves because the Tigers are going to reload once again.
I wonder if they're thinking, do we just roll the full-on flood out here at this point? Put 18 men inside defensive 50. Good luck scoring 3 goals. It's inside there. Lane a likely target, but a tough day for the big men. Doing well to keep his balance there was Hubbard. And almost taking the relieving mark, but fumbling at Manshannon at the last second. And forces another stoppage inside forward 50 for the Tigers, but they need to start making some inroads here. That Pearce goal, absolutely enormous. It's flipped the dynamic of this one. 3 goals going to be so tough to score. Is that going to be holding the football? The umpire has spotted a free kick and it's going the way of the Tigers. It'll be Zach Adams. This would be an incredibly difficult kick. He looks up, looking for a marking target. The Bombers doing a good job just blocking the space to deny him a little short option. It looks like he's going to attempt the shot perhaps. No, just squares it up, does the discipline thing. Lane couldn't bring it down. There was Tompkinson. And in the end, he had to play defensive and wrap up Jack Ahern. They're forcing it closer to the goal. Can they find 6 points they so desperately need here? It's been a fantastic defensive display from the Bombers. Can they keep holding on here? Cleared away by Hubbard. He's been really good today, as is this young fella, Manshannon. He just chips one up here and trying to take the mark, but unable to do so was Newton. Throw in half forward for the Tigers.
It's just every disposal means so much at this point of the game, Drewy. This is fantastic stuff to watch. 16 points the difference. Game on a knife's edge. If Kingborough can just break through and get that goal, it's going to change the complexion of this game. North Launceston doing a fantastic job in this last quarter to this point. But still plenty of football to play. Adams emerges with the footy, gets it back to Cole. Cole's kick smothered by Lockie Cowan. Over and out for a throw in. Cowan's been absolute standout for the Devils so far this season in the NAB League. Co-captain with North Hobart's Sam Banks-Smith, just racking up huge numbers week in, week out. Really exciting draft prospect out of the Northwest Coast, and now North Launceston. The ball's one down in the path. It is going to be a free kick. High tackle. Big moment in this game. It's going to go the way of Luke Graham.
It's the right decision.
It is,
It slipped above the shoulder. Unfortunate on Cowan, but had to be called. Tough kick this one, though.
Really tough kick for Graham. He's going to be kicking better part of 50, 52 metres here. Still a breeze, but it's going to take some of his best work. Luke Graham. What can Luke Graham do? He kicks from the paint of 50. The kick's on the way. Always just tucking to the left-hand side. Minor score. So Kingborough hit the scoreboard for the first time since the second quarter. 2-5, plays 4-8.
Not the 6 points they so badly needed, though. Pearce inserting himself. A little shirt grab there. He got away with on Parker as they come in. The umpire says, I'll have it. They need 3 goals, and time is starting to become an enemy in these conditions. Going to be very difficult indeed. The longer it ticks, the more likely it is for the Bombers. You'd fancy the Tigers need one very, very soon, but they won't get it here because Cohen clears the area. Slid through. between Bennett's feet and then just worked off the ground by Campbell, took it away from the fingertips of his own teammate, diving in on top of the Tigers. Here's Elijah Reardon, who's shown that cleanness all day. Everyone else has made it look like a bar of soap. Reardon gets his kick away here. It was touched, so Nankervis doesn't try and mark it. Dygan goes in, shows some good balance there and turns and sends it forward. Parked underneath it, an uncomfortable position for Fletcher Bennett. It has been all day, but he was strong under the high ball, and he chips it sideways and he finds Sulzberger. It is raining sideways here at the Twin Ovals. And the Bombers on the precipice of a remarkable win here. This young side in tough conditions. They've been immense. They've got just over 10 minutes left to see out the job. But the longer it wears on without a Tigers goal, the more it's looking likely, Anthony.
Yeah, this is desperate stuff at the moment. Just ticking over 16 minutes in this last quarter. Ives, who's competed so well all afternoon, up against Tompkinson, who's been one of the better players on the ground. Big ball to win. Couple of scrappy kicks along the ground. Gets the ball inside 50 for North Launceston. Tom Bennett's kick smothered. Kieran Lovell's going to emerge with the football. Doesn't take it cleanly though. Reinforcements eventually come in for Kingborough. And able to take the ball cleanly on that occasion was Will Clifford. Ball still just bumbling around. That's going to be a high tackle, surely. Umpire eventually sees it. So a free kick going the way of North Launceston. Final moments being taken off the clock. Brad Cox-Goodyear just comes in and has a chat to young man Shandon, who's been really good today. Pointing towards the goal face. Just going to set this up, his man Shandon. That's what he does. A couple of players fly. Tom Bennett's one of them. Unable to pull in the grab as the rain continues to tumble down. So Kingborough balls at the wrong end of the ground for them, and we're just ticking over 17 minutes. Need to get a real hurry on now if they're to try and win this game. Ives taps it down only as far as Kingborough player. Coming in, a crucial miss at ground level. Is that a kick? Umpires are going to query this. Is that a goal?
Harper's claiming it.
Harper is. It was smart work off the ground. Deliberation between the umpires. This is a huge moment in this game. The drama.
Enormous. This is a goal. It's over. Oh, it's touched.
Oh. Relief for Kingborough, but they've still got plenty of work to do. Touch ball. Elijah Reardon with ball in hand.
A goal was absolutely terminal there. That was the most important umpiring conference of the year as they came together and decided it would not be settled just yet, but they could finish the job here potentially, the Bombers. Just got the handball away in time. Standing up strong in tackles. Ollington works it forward. Suddenly under pressure is this Tigers defence. Slinging tackle there. The kick came out to Gardner. He's immediately besieged. Slamming on the boots. Harper. Pearce is waiting for it. Will it fall for him? It does. Pearce surely wins the game. He's kicked his third and 22 points the margin at the 18-minute mark of the final term. That's surely curtains. Nathan Pearce, in a game where goals have been more valuable than goals, he's kicked 3 of them. They lead by 22, and for me, Anthony Osborne, that is curtains.
Yeah, take a bow, Nathan Pearce. Just great goal sense, great strength, and just had the composure and the cleanliness. That's been the big thing we've talked about all afternoon, and he made the most of his opportunity. That is a huge moment for the Northern Bombers. Nathan Pearce with 3 goals. Terrific performance from him, and 2 goals at that end of the ground.
Yeah, they're almost worth double. They've been so hard. And the Bombers, look to their credit, they had the Cox-Goodyear hitting the post. They've got a free kick here as things get even better. They've played this end of the ground a lot better than the Tigers have. The Tigers now suddenly needing 4 goals in red time. It's hard to see where it comes from, because it's pretty tough to be slick and fast through the corridor on a day like this. It's just not. It's hard to see how it's going to be possible. They're going to keep trying though as they work it up towards the wing. The Bombers flowing with confidence now. They know they're on the precipice of this win. Cohen happy to just settle for a stoppage as he's wrapped up there by Ashland. They've played it magnificently, and tactically they've had a blinder here today, the Bombers.
Yeah, Brad Cox-Goodyear's done a fantastic job. He and his coaching staff and the players have executed the plan. It's been a terrific performance from them. I want these next couple of minutes to be out of the way, but it's looking highly unlikely for Kingborough from here. Oh, lovely work from Cowan, working his way through space. It's going to be pushed down the ground. It was, free kick down the ground. Cowan dealt with after the fact. So another opportunity for North Launceston. Ball in the hands of Tom Bennett. Didn't want the ball in too many other players' hands if you're a North Launceston supporter. Tom Bennett now to have a look at goal. He's kicked one goal this afternoon and he'll look to really put it well and truly beyond doubt now for North Launceston. He gets a bit of extra distance on the kick, Tom Bennett. Sprays it out to the pocket, just keeps in play. Clifford tries to do it himself. Leary out of thin air. Don't tell me it won't be, but opportunistic effort there from Brandon Leary. Through into the other pocket for a throw in. You do look at it, Drewy. It's ended up, at the moment, 14 scoring shots to 7. Launceston have certainly had opportunities in front of goal and created those opportunities and peppered the goal face.
Yeah,
Kingborough, it's just been dried up for them.
Absolutely. 2 goals in this final term. I mean, they've extended their lead.
Yeah.
We're saying, have they got enough of a lead heading into the final term? Well, they've added to it. It's been, the Tigers have been unable to score, and it hasn't been through changing of conditions.
Yeah.
It's just been, you know, in the battle of attrition, it's been the Bombers who've had that little bit more. They've dug deeper, and they've got the results in this final term, and this is going to be an incredible win for this young playing group. And perhaps a sign of the evenness in the TSL this year as they scrap in once more at the 50 arc. Bombers' confidence palpable at this point. You can see it flowing through the group. That Pearce goal really energised them. They knew at that moment, we've got this now, boys. And the Tigers, a little bit stunned, have not scored a single point to this end, but they've had to do some defending. That's a good tackle laid there by O'Neill. Spilt out the back, tumbled forward there by Ollington, and the mark's taken. And he'll quickly turn and play on here. Can they add to the score here? It's not going to have the distance. It might be a mark in the pocket, though, for Newitt. Fisted away from him at the last second. But it's up the right end of the park as far as the Bombers are concerned. And with a 22-point lead this late on, there is no doubt they're winning this football game.
A marvellous performance from the North Launceston Football Club. They've come down to a wet and cold and windy Kingston Twin Ovals, and the trip up the highway is going to be a lot sweeter for them this evening with 4 points in the bank. Big fist there. First to the football. Newitt. Handball's back. Finds a Hearn. Hearn wrapped up in a big Donnelly tackle. That's holding the football. And Donnelly continues to fight away in defence for the Kingborough Tigers. Donnelly drives the ball out wide. Flying there was Salter, but decidedly punched over and out for a throw in. North Launceston wearing black armbands today in memory of President Thane Brady's late mother, who passed away during the week as well. So thoughts with Thane Brady, his family and friends this time as well. That umpire throw-in will be brought back once again.
I wonder if they've got hand warmers in the pockets. Need them on a day like this.
Absolutely. It's cold. This really is footy weather, isn't it, Drewy? We've been too lucky to this point. The weather's been pretty good almost every weekend until now. Now it's just proper football conditions.
An Antarctic blast.
Absolutely. So Eddie Carl's going to take the footy at half forward now for Kingborough. Just about 23 and a half gone in this final term. He kicks into a dangerous spot, but Ahern was the only player there. Last line of defence, a bit of work to do here for the North Lonnie defenders. They're calling for deliberate, but the pressure was there. Umpire Geeson says it will be a throw in. Interesting to see the Cripps Player of the Year votes out of this game, Drewy. It's been a tough war of attrition. Nathan Pearce with 3 goals surely will feature.
3 goals, 3 votes, mate.
Lane, quick shot. North Launceston with the numbers at ground level, able to bring the ball back towards half-back. Adams diving in, surely a kick in danger. The umpire might not have seen it. Play on. Bumbling ball here inside the centre square. Ball's travelled good 20 metres without any real clean disposal. Umpire will take it inside the centre square. But yeah, now Pearce, 3 goals, 2 in the last quarter. He'll certainly feature. Cowan, tackle. Just scrappy football at the moment. Umpire letting this play out. Eddie Cole lays the tackle. Umpire will take it once again.
Yeah, 3 goals out of 7 for the day. Nearly 40% of the goals in the match. Disposal's not really going to be one to judge off today because so many have just been little sideways handballs that have gone absolutely nowhere. tackle numbers will be interesting to see out of this one too. There'll be a few lifted in that regards, and over to the shoulder free kick will go the way of the Tigers. It's going to be Samuel Dygan to take. But 4 goals in the final couple of minutes is beyond them at this point. Can they find something though? They've only added a single point this last term. And again, although Mark not paid to Fletcher Bennett, Elijah Reardon's pushed forward and he's trying to weave his way through, but simply couldn't find the room. Fletcher Bennett wins it back. And they have been tremendous in that side of the game today, these Bombers. The tackling pressure, the intensity, the defensive unit have been immaculate, really. They've not put a foot wrong.
Yeah, we talk about it so often, just what a fantastic football club. They just keep producing year in, year out. Godomski almost takes that grab. Leary handballs it off. Ball back to Jack Vent. Vent's kick is going to roll over and out for a throw-in.
Yeah, step back rebuild here and just knocked off the second place team with no issues here today.
Absolutely. They're an impressive football club. And certainly the additions of the Devils guys has really supported them today. But again, there's a bit in that of these guys haven't played or trained with a lot of their teammates here for a number of weeks now. They've been able to slide in seamlessly. Again, the conditions play a big role in the type of game that's been played, but it's been a fantastic performance from this young outfit.
You really thought the conditions would suit the Tigers, if anyone. Perhaps their tools, with the exception of Big Tompkinson, is the issue for them. But the Bombers have been fantastic, and they might yet even add to it. And Pearce might get a fourth. He's going to saunter into an open goal, help himself to a fourth of the afternoon. He's kicked 50% of the majors here this afternoon. And the Bombers, forget about holding on to the 10-point lead they had going to the last. They have extended it. And 28 points, given the conditions, is pretty damn decisive. And Nathan Pearce has kicked 4.
Sensational from Nathan Pearce. And again, found himself in the right spot, the right time. Good ball movement from North Lonnie. And yeah, just a little cherry on top of what's been a fantastic performance. Pearce with 4 goals for the afternoon. And yeah, you're right. All of a sudden you look at the scoreboard and it's a decisive victory for North Launceston. It's been an arm wrestle all afternoon. But the visitors, they're going to go back up the highway with 4 points in the bag. Tapped down by Ives. He's going to rob his own work. A scrappy kick inside 50. Godomski first to the footy, wrapped up in a tackle by Leary. Cowan emerges with a great strength shown by Cowan. Kicks to a dangerous spot. Can Seth Campbell join the party? A dribbling kick. He does. Party time now for North Launceston. Conditions suddenly not looking to hamper them at all. 7-9-51. Kingborough 2-5-17. Seth Campbell joins in and kicks a goal in the final 10.
Yeah, they broke the back of this Tiger side, I think, when they kicked probably that first goal of the quarter. Yep. From that moment on, I think a few heads dropped. The intensity's dropped a little bit around the ball. That manic defensive pressure the Tigers had for 3 quarters is dissipated, I think, with the sense that they couldn't win anymore. And the Bombers have, I think, relished having those shackles released and gone, oh, finally we can actually kick a few goals here. And another one just out the back there. And we haven't seen that all afternoon, the ball getting out the back at that end of the park. It's been so hard, but they get another one. 34 points now. This is pretty decisive. The umpire will pay a free kick there. And it really is all going the Bombers' way here. Everything coming up. North Launceston as the final siren rings out. Bradley Cox-Goodyear, so important in keeping his side in the game early on. I thought he was great defensively when they were under siege with the Tigers, with the wind at their backs in quarter number 2. They held on, they held on, they held on. Then the last quarter, well, they sprinted away. And remarkably, they have trebled the Tigers' score and win this one 7-9-51 to 2-5-17. A fantastic performance, a big upset, and full marks to the Northern Bombers here today. They were outstanding.
Certainly were, and they've kept Kingborough to 3 goalless quarters. Kingborough have kicked 2 goals in the second quarter, and that's all they really had to show for the scoreboard across the entire afternoon. Brad Cox-Goodyear's Baby Bombers, a magnificent performance. Nathan Pearce bobbing up with those 4 goals was terrific. 3 goals in the last quarter, and you've said it a couple of times already, Drewy, but we were saying at 3/4 time, is the lead enough? And they've just gone ahead and just kicked 4 goals to none in the last quarter. The conditions may have changed somewhat, but still incredibly difficult conditions. And North Launceston, this is a great sign of maturity for such a young group. And Kingborough, off the back of the bye, they just start to fall back to the pack a little bit.
Yeah, it makes Guess the race for those top few final spots, home finals, very interesting indeed as we reach the conclusion of, what was your terminology used for the first lot of 6 rounds?
The first cycle of the year.
The first cycle. I don't mind that one, Anth, though. We reached the end of that and things very interestingly poised in the TSL. We saw last week Launceston suddenly perhaps gettable and just shaping as a very interesting season.
I'll tell you what, next week, Saturday at 2 o'clock, Kingborough, Lauderdale, the Twin Ovals. That is primed to be an absolute beauty.
Ooh.
Lauderdale with their tail up. They've won 3 on the bounce. And Kingborough, now they're really needing to get a win against a team like Lauderdale, who are looming as a real contender heading into the pointy end of the season.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. And look, I think they probably can't flog them too hard on the training track this week because they're going to need the recovery after a game like this. But I think there'll be a few stern words from the coaching staff about this one. Beaten up in that final term. They'll be desperate for a response. Lauderdale, as you say, in the ascendancy. Probably left a couple of results out there early in the season they really should have won, but they've picked up. They're looking really good. That's going to be a cracking encounter next Saturday.
Absolutely. Should be an absolute cracker. Make sure you stay tuned to the TSL social media accounts for all the news throughout the week and tune into the Daily Potato Co. TSL live streams next weekend. Andrew Cooling, fantastic to have you in the commentary box today. Great work as always.
Always a pleasure calling with you, Anthony.
Thank you to Andrew McCarthy, manning the camera in tough conditions down at Kingston Twin Ovals. Ash Wilkes in the studio. Thank you for tuning in to the TSL Daily Potato Co. live stream for Round 7. North Launceston, they record a fantastic victory, 7-9-51 to Kingborough, 2-5-17. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.